Hey guys, real quick this morning I wanted to make a video about what it kind of takes to swap a intercooler into a non-intercooled Cummins. You can probably see I went with a 2nd gen, the later model intercooler, which takes a little bit extra. But first thing first is that you're going to have an intake horn, and it had this plate has to be taken out and flipped around. All the bolt holes still match up and everything, but this has to be swapped so that your intake horn goes in to this side instead of where you can see behind it. The old one goes across here and goes in. So to do that, first thing you have to take your injector lines off. It's not difficult, but you know, getting them back on, you have to do it kind of in the right order. You have to take this mounting plate off for your throttle cable, all your linkage. You have to take that off to get your injector lines off. Once you get your injectors off, swap that plate around. I would suggest just get a new gasket. They're cheap. You can get them for like 10 bucks, I think, at anywhere. But you can get this horn on, get your injector lines on. After that, you're gonna have to bleed them all. Not a big deal. But a couple other little things is that you're gonna have to take, let me move this. You're gonna have to take the safety latch off of your hood, because when it drives through here, of course it would hit your intercooler. So you've got to take that off. You can kind of chop it up and you can still make it work. I just haven't done it yet. One thing that I ran into was this is a hard line from this runs coolant into your heat exchanger if you have an automatic transmission. My turbo, this is an HX35, I either had to clock it so that it didn't hit the hard line, or what I did was I just cut it here, which is like half of the hard line off, and I just mounted this, I used just like 5/8 intercooler tube and made it into a soft line that runs down to the heat exchanger down here. And that actually worked. Nothing, no leaks, hasn't blown off or anything. Not a big deal. And this is not flared. That's what kind of scared me. But it's not a big deal. Let's see. For your intake pipe off your horn, I actually had to cut some of my battery tray off so that it would all clear. I don't know if every setup you'd have to, but I definitely had to take out the back side of it. Not a big deal. It's pretty rough right now. I just did this and I have to button up a lot of stuff. Of course, on your core support, you're gonna have to do a lot for that. I mean, on mine, this is not even a Cummins body. I body swapped all of this. On the older models, it has like a mounting plate here for the older style grill. I had to take that off, cut the spot welds and take it out. And then you're also gonna have to cut your little holes here. Not a big deal. You're gonna have to cut your holes for your intercooler to fit through. On this, I just used some like tubing and longer bolts, and I need to kind of clean all this stuff up. But that is how it is mounted in there. Not a big deal. Other than that, it pretty much just sits in there really tight. This intercooler is huge, because I think this one's off a 2000 Cummins. So it's a little bit harder to fit than the intercooler that's supposed to come on these trucks, or even the early 2nd gen intercooler. But I don't know, it's big as hell and I think it looks cool. But I think that might be it as far as the little tricks and stuff that I had to do. So I just wanted to make a little video, maybe if there's any other questions or whatever. Oh, one thing is that the top of this mounting plate will not fit. This goes up and wraps over the top to mount on top of the old intake horn. I had to cut it off. It does still stay in place where it's at, but you will have to cut the top of it off, because it's gonna hit like here on your new intake horn. It just doesn't work. But even if you chop it up and it doesn't have all of the mounting bolts and stuff like that, it still stays in place. It's just fine. It's still going to mount to the bottom, still mounts to your throttle linkage. And then that's almost it, really. A lot of this stuff is just held, it all just kind of holds itself together. So I just want to make a quick video and I don't know, tell me guys what you think. Later.